Wasn't I a rower 3 days ago? 3 days ago rower not spreading?
3 gün önce kürekçi yayılmıyor mu?
His half-brother is an alchemist. His half-brother is an alchemist.
Üvey kardeşi simyacıdır.
Can't you spare 2 weeks? Can't empty 2 weeks?
2 haftayı boşaltamıyor musunuz?
Should finalize. Should finalize.
Sonuçlandırmalı.
Your brother's air traffic controller. Your brother's air traffic controller.
Kardeşin hava trafik kontrolörü.
We must not deny it. We must not deny it.
İnkar etmemeliyiz.
It would be right away. It will be right away.
Hemen olacak.
Was our uncle an inspector? Our uncle inspector broadcast? 5 p.m. cannot judge. Cannot be judged after 5 births.
5 doğumdan sonra yargılanamaz.
Does it improve? Development?
Geliştirme mi?
Don't we hate every year? Don't you hate every year?
Her yıl nefret etmiyor musun?
Archaeologist would not be 10 years. Archaeologist for 10 years.
Arkeolog 10 yıl boyunca.
Didn't he attack 5 years ago? Didn't he attack 5 years ago?
5 yıl önce saldırmadı mı?
Was he the night watchman next year? Next year night watchman Bo?
Seneye gece bekçisi yay.
Don't I show up late at 3 in the morning? Do I pass at 3 in the morning?
Sabahın 3'ünde geçiyoruz muyum?
May not be a stylist right away. May not be a stylist right away.
Hemen stilist olmayabilir.
Shouldn't they be given a job? Shouldn't they be hired?
İş vermeleri gerekmez mi?
I shouldn't draw. I have to draw.
Çizmeliyim.
They do not disappear after 4 weeks. Lost after 4 weeks.
4 hafta sonu sonra kayıplar.
They cannot fly. They cannot fly.
Uçamazlar.
Can't compare next year? Can't compare next year?
Gelecek yıl karşılaştıramaz mı?
Don't I show up late at 3 in the morning? Do I pass at 3 in the morning?
Sabahın 3'ünde geçiyoruz muyum?
Were their cousins decorators? Were their cousins decorators?
Kuzenleri dekoratör müydü?
Can I train 5 weeks ago? Can I train 5 weeks ago?
5 hafta önce eğitim verebilir miyim?
He wasn't cold. I was cold.
Üşüyordum.
You serve at night. You serve at night.
Gece hizmet veriyorsunuz.
She can be a housewife in the previous one evening. She can be a housewife in the previous one evening.
Önceki bir akşam ev hanımı olabilir.
Wouldn't I be a fashion designer for 5 afternoons? After 5 data do I go no fashion saver?
5 veri sonra moda koruyucusu olmaz giderim.
Can we get fit? Can we be eligible?
Uygun olabilir miyiz?
They may not take a step last year. They can take a step last year.
Geçen yıl bir adım atabilirler.
Isn't there a proxy at night? Isn't there a proxy at night?
Gece vakti vekil olmaz mı?
It may not decide after 5 seconds. It may not decide after 5 seconds.
5 saniye sonra karar vermeyebilir.
Can't I deny? Can't I deny?
İnkar edemez miyim?
Were your cousins decorators? Were your cousins decorators?
Kuzenleriniz dekoratör müydü?
Are you going to play the lead in 2 minutes? Are you going to play the lead in 2 minutes?
2 dakika sonra başrolü mü yapacaksın?
Was my mother-in-law a singer? Is my mother-in-law a singer?
Kayınvalidem şarkıcısı mı?
Will we not borrow? Will we not be caught?
Tutulmayacak mıyız?
Rarely do we get. With me?
Yanımda mı?
You didn't ride. You didn't ride.
Binmedin.
Weren't they curious? Don't they care?
Merak etmiyorlar mı?
Can prepare. Can prepare.
Hazırlayabilir.
I would not attend. I would not attend.
Katılmazdım.
Is my uncle a boxer? Is my uncle a boxer?
Amcam boksör mü?
My stepson was an athlete. Was an athlete.
Üvey sporcuydu.
Rarely did I save? Didn't I save some?
Bazılarını kaydetmedim mi?
Was not often a filmmaker. They weren't often filmmakers.
Sık sık film yapımcıları değildi.
You're kicking at sunset. You're kicking at sunset.
Gün batımında bir tekme atıyorsun.
Isn't it basic? Isn't it basic?
Temel değil mi?
Did not explain. Did not explain.
Açıklamadı.
Consort. Consort.
Sıralayabilir.
We have to analyze after 1 hour. Analysis report after 1 hour.
1 saat sonra analiz raporu.
Your stepfather was the referee. Your stepfather was the referee.
Üvey baban hakemdi.
Can't you suppress? Can't you suppress?
Bastıramıyor musun?
Were my cousins actors? When my cousins are actors.
Kuzenlerim oyuncularken.
You would dance. You would dance.
Dans ederdin.
It cannot be mentioned. It cannot be spoken of.
Bundan söz edilemez.
They gather. They are managers.
Onlar yönetici.
Should they finish? Should they finish?
Bitirmeliler mi?
Will he not defend? Will he not defend?
Savunma yapmayacak mı?
Does not undertake. Does not undertake.
Üstlenmiyor.
It cannot be mentioned. It cannot be spoken of.
Bundan söz edilemez.
We are never carpenters. We will never be carpenters.
Biz asla marangoz olmayacağız.
Their parents are more ironic. Their parents are more ironic.
Ebeveynleri daha ironik.
Are their mother-in-laws fashion designers? Are their mother-in-laws fashion saviors?
Kayınvalideleri moda koruyucusu mu?
Your husband was a dancer. Your husband was a dancer.
Kocan dansçıydı.
They can make daily groceries. They can make daily groceries.
Günlük bakkaliye yapabilirler.
Will we decide in a century? Decide after a century?
Bir asır sonra mı karar verme?
Shall we continue in the twilight? Will we continue in the twilight?
Alacakaranlıkta devam edeceğiz.
Was my half-brother a dermatologist? Can you be dermatologist with your stepbrother?
Üvey kardeşinle dermat olabilirsin.
Your neighbor is the trainer. Your neighbor is the trainer.
Komşunuz eğitmen.
They cost in a second. They cost in a second.
Bir saniye sonra mal olurlar.
He was an anthropologist at the time. He was an anthropologist at the time.
O zamanlar antropologdu.
You can get points last year. You can get points last year.
Geçen yıl puan alabilirsin.
Should you be bartending now? Should you be bartending now?
Şimdi barmenlik yapmalısınız.
Shouldn't it be closer in 2 weeks? Shouldn't it be closer in 2 weeks?
2 hafta sonra yaklaşması gerekmiyor mu?
I should not create. I should not create.
Yaratmamalıyım.
Was her half-sister a songwriter? Does his half-sister write lyrics?
Üvey kız kardeşi söz yazar mı?
Won't they be closing? Won't they be closing?
Kapatmayacaklar mı?
You will breastfeed once a month. You will order once a month.
Ayda bir emir vereceksin.
Not mentioned? Don't you understand?
Anlanmıyor mu?
Your grandmother is a comedian. Your grandmother is a comedian.
Büyükannen komedyen.
We couldn't leave. We couldn't leave.
Ayrılamadık.
Shouldn't you be paired after a day? Shouldn't it be a day later?
Bir gün sonra olması gerekmez mi?
I won't leave. I won't leave.
Ayrılmam.
You cannot meet. You cannot meet.
Görüşemezsin.
You would dance. You would dance.
Dans ederdin.
His grandmother was a urologist. His grandmother was a urologist.
Büyükannesi ürologdu.
His stepdaughters were housewives. His stepdaughters were housewives.
Üvey kızları ev hanımıydı.
Can accept. Can accept.
Kabul edebilir.
Why not monthly? Why not monthly?
Aylık neden olamaz mı?
Should take advantage. Should take advantage.
Faydalanması gerekir.
Your nephew is a lawyer. Your nephew is a lawyer.
Yeğeniniz avukat.
Wouldn't it connect? Won't it connect?
Bağlanmaz mı?
I shouldn't measure. I have to upload.
Yüklenmeliyim.
They couldn't have been better at sunset. They couldn't have been better at sunset.
Gün batımında daha iyi olamazlardı.
Do you have to apply? Do you have to apply?
Başvurmak zorunda mısın?
Her stepdaughter was the lead actress. Her stepdaughter was the lead actress.
Üvey kızı başrol oyuncusuydu.
At dawn, I was not an insurer. It wasn't my insurer at dawn.
Şafakta sigortacım değildi.
Shouldn't he be the minister after 5 days? Shouldn't he be the minister in 5 days?
5 gün sonra bakan olması gerekmiyor mu?
We must refuse at sunset. We must refuse at sunset.
Gün batımında reddetmeliyiz.
They'll be out soon. Close out.
Yakın dışlar.
Are his brothers postmen? Are his brothers postmen?
Kardeşleri postacı mı?
Can I connect after 4 weekends? Is it possible after 4 weeks?
4 hafta sonu sonra mümkün olabilir mi?
Is their spouse the second man? Is their spouse the second man?
Eşleri ikinci adam mı?
He must be a frequent pilot. He must be a frequent pilot.
Sık sık pilotluk yapmalıdır.
Wouldn't he be an industrialist after 4 years? Wouldn't he be an industrialist after 4 years?
4 yıl sonra sanayici olmaz mı?
Shouldn't they do it every day? Aren't they supposed to do it every day?
Her gün yapmaları gerekmiyor mu?
Weren't they programmers last year? Weren't they programmers last year?
Geçen yıl programcı değiller mi?
Didn't they object? Didn't they object?
İtiraz etmediler mi?
Can't train after 5 days? Am I in charge of training after 5 days?
5 gün sonra antrenman sorumlusu muyum?
Are his brothers postmen? Are his brothers postmen?
Kardeşleri postacı mı?
Don't I show up late at 3 in the morning? Do I pass at 3 in the morning?
Sabahın 3'ünde geçiyoruz muyum?
Must hate the moon. The moon must be hated.
Aydan nefret edilmeli.
Your cousins were garbage collectors. Your cousins were garbage collectors.
Kuzenleriniz çöp toplayıcıydı.
I'll bake at dawn. We'll put it in the oven at dawn.
Şafakta fırına vereceğiz.
Can't you push it the night before? Can't you press it the night before?
Bir gece önce bastıramaz mısınız?
Can't make a weekly cream? Can't make a weekly cream?
Haftalık krem yapamaz mı?
Her husband was a urologist. The husband was a urologist.
Koca ürologdu.
We shouldn't be airmen in 3 hours. We have to be airmen in 3 hours.
3 saat sonra havacı olmalıyız.
A year later we wouldn't be rangers. A year later, ranger organic.
1 yıl sonra korucu organik.
His father is an illusionist. His father is an illusionist.
Babası illüzyonisttir.
Can't I be a bricklayer soon? Can't I be a bricklayer soon?
Yakında duvarcı olamaz mıyım?
Can 10 years joke? Can 10 years joke?
10 yıl şaka yapabilir mi?
He wasn't cold. I was cold.
Üşüyordum.
Can't you work often? Can't you work often?
Sık sık çalışamaz mısın?
Does not appear mu. Do you wash?
Yıkamak mı?
Now he refuses. Now he refuses.
Şimdi reddediyor.
Should we go to the gynecologist after 3 a.m.? Should we go to the gynecologist after 3 in the morning?
Jinekologa sabah 3'ten sonra mı gitmeliyiz?
Must accept. Must accept.
Kabul etmesi gerekir.
Does it mean noon? Does it mark noon?
Öğle vakti mi işaretliyor?
Won't it mean? No comments?
Yorum gelmeyecek mi?
His friends were singers. His friends were singers.
Arkadaşları şarkıcıydı.
Are they scared? Are the buyers?
Alıcılar mı?
Will you trust before? Will you trust before?
Daha önce güvenecek misin?
Would do it later. Did it later.
Daha sonra yaptı.
Translator at sunrise? Translator at sunrise?
Gün doğumunda tercüman mı?
Is his colleague a philosopher? Is his colleague a philosopher?
Meslektaşı filozof mu?
Was our spouse a pipe player? Our partner pipe player insulation?
Eşimiz boru döşeyici izolasyon.
Are you a blacksmith at sunset? Blacksmith at sunset wrong?
Gün batımında demirci yanlış mı?
Your cousins were jugglers. Your cousins were jugglers.
Kuzenlerin hokkabazdı.
Are we monthly? Did we set it monthly?
Aylak mı ayarladık?
Should he become a consultant now? Should he become a consultant now?
Hemen danışman mı olmalı?
Shall we continue in the twilight? Will we continue in the twilight?
Alacakaranlıkta devam edeceğiz.
They do not match. They do not match.
Eşleşmiyorlar.
Will not sound. Will not be voiced.
Seslendirilmeyecek.
Are they filmmakers every day? Are they movie makers every day?
Onlar her gün film yapımcıları mı?
They were not occasional illustrators. They were not occasional illustrators.
Ara sıra illüstratör olmadılar.
He wouldn't complain. He wouldn't complain.
Şikayet etmezdi.
Our half-brother is a travel agent. Our half-brother is a travel agent.
Üvey kardeşimiz seyahat acentesidir.
Was her brother a florist? Sibling florist cafe?
Kardeşi çiçekçi kafesi.
They can be librarians at noon. They can be librarians at noon.
Öğle vakti kütüphaneci olabilirler.
Their children are astronauts. The little ones are astronauts.
Küçükler astronottur.
She may not have been a waitress last year. She may not have been a waitress last year.
Geçen yıl garsonluk yapmayabilir.
Can you visit 5 hours ago? Can you visit 5 hours ago?
5 saat önce ziyaret edebilir misiniz?
Can check now. Can try now.
Şimdi deneyebilir.
We cannot deny. We cannot deny.
İnkar edemeyiz.
We worry at 5 p.m. After 5 sexting we worry.
5 seviştikten sonra endişeleniyoruz.
They are locked. They are locked.
Onlar kilit.
Can you throw? Can you throw?
Atabilir mi?
Go. Go.
Git.
It cannot burn. Fireproof.
Yanmaz.
Do you forget? Do you forget?
Unutuyor musun?
It can dive after 3 days. It can dive after 3 days.
3 gün sonra dalabilir.
Your uncle is a businesswoman. Your uncle is a business expert.
Amcan bir iş uzmanı.
Her half-sister is the weather presenter. Her half-sister is the weather presenter.
Üvey kız kardeşi hava durumu sunucusu.
Should it be checked at night? Should it be checked at night?
Gece kontrol edilmeli mi?
Not a weekly advocate? Not a weekly advocate?
Haftalık savunucusu değil mi?
Shouldn't we be hydrologists last year? Shouldn't we be hydrologists last year?
Geçen sene hidrolog olmamıza gerek yok mu?
Aren't they 2 weeks from the advertiser? Aren't they 2 weeks from the advertiser?
Onlar reklam veren 2 hafta değil mi?
Would he carry? To carry?
Taşımak.
Can you call often? Can you call often?
Sık sık hitap edebilir misiniz?
You can't pass after 3 nights. You can't pass after 3 nights.
3 gece sonra geçemezsin.
Do I play? Am I playing?
Oynuyor muyum?
I can blame. I can blame.
Suçlayabilirim.
My stepson was an operator. Was the step operator.
Üvey operatördü.
Can you prepare 1 week in advance? Can you prepare for 1 week?
Bir hafta boyunca hazırlayabilir misiniz?
Should go to the psychiatrist at dawn. Should go to the psychiatrist at dawn.
Şafakta psikiyatriste gitmeli.
You could have been a butcher earlier at 1 a.m. Could have been the butcher earlier at 1 a.m.
Daha önce gece yarısı 1'de kasap olabilirdi.
His brother-in-law was an assistant. His brother-in-law was an assistant.
Kayınbiraderi asistandı.
We will run away. We will run away.
Kaçacağız.
His brother was an accountant. His brother was accounting.
Erkek kardeşici muhasebeydi.
His friends are opticians. Friends opticians.
Arkadaşlar gözlükçü.
We would care. We do not approach.
Yaklaştırmıyoruz.
Didn't he go to jail often? Didn't he go to jail often?
Sık sık hapse girmedi mi?
You can't do chemistry now. You are now a chemistry scan.
Şimdi kimya taramasısın.
I wasn't hurt. I wasn't hurt.
İncinemedim.
My relatives are architects. My relatives are architects.
Akrabalarım mimar.
Can't they force? Can't they force?
Zorlayamazlar mı?
Usually we can't. Usually we can't.
Genellikle kapatamayız.
You should contact. You must contact.
İletişim geçmelisiniz.
I'll bake at dawn. We'll put it in the oven at dawn.
Şafakta fırına vereceğiz.
Shouldn't be gardening for 10 years. Shouldn't be gardening for 10 years.
10 yıl bahçıvanlık yapmamalı.
Should I be detective now? Should I be detective now?
Şimdi dedektiflik yapmalı mıyım?
Should you confess? Is it wrong to confess?
İtiraf etmek yanlış mı?
Do they get points? Are the scores included?
Puanlar yer alıyor mu?
Your cousins were garbage collectors. Your cousins were garbage collectors.
Kuzenleriniz çöp toplayıcıydı.
We can take it out. We have to take it out.
Çıkarmalıyız.
Was your half-brother a shop assistant? Is your stepbrother a shop assistant?
Üvey kardeşin tezgahtar mı?
His half-brother is a blacksmith. His half-brother is a blacksmith.
Üvey kardeşi demircidir.